Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining Respus Live on this evening. Thank you so much. Good evening. If you would, could you please share or start a watch party on tonight? If you would please share and start a watch party on tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tonight, we're still talking about you have to see it before you see it. We're still on that series. There's so much that can be said in reference to you have to see it before you see it. It is important. It is important that we see it from a spiritual perspective before we see it with our naked eye. It is important to remember that there's nothing impossible, that your dreams and your visions and your aspirations are all possible. They're all possible through God. So don't think small. And as I've stated before, there's no such thing as the sky being the limit. There are no limits. There is nothing that we can't do with God's help and his assistance and his direction. So the word tonight is reset. We're going to reset. Last week we talked about evolving. This week we're talking about resetting, to adjust. You have to adjust your mindset. You have to adjust the way you think. What has worked for you in the past is now for you to make an adjustment with your thinking and make sure that your mindset is in line with where you're going. You want to make sure that your destiny and the way you think are all in sync with one another. So you have to ensure that your mindset is also in line with your destiny. And so tonight, again, we're talking about reset. And some words that kind of work with that is to reestablish, to revisit, to revise, and to renew. I want you to look at your life as it is now, and I want you to think of ways that you can revise it, make some adjustments, and reestablish some things so that you won't continue to go into the same direction. Now, if it's been working for you, that's fine, if you're on your path. But if you feel like you're stuck and you feel like you're stuck in the mud, I don't know about you, but one time I was driving my vehicle and I got stuck. And Tia, the more I tried to get out of it, I got deeper. I went deeper in the mud. And so sometimes we feel like we're stuck in the mud. We're not moving forward. We're moving, but we're not making progress. So if you find yourself in that situation tonight, it's time to hit the reset button. All you have to do is make sure your mindset and that you're ready to reset and to move forward. So you have to hit the reset button. And this is by an author that's unknown. He says, growth is painful. Change is painful. But there's nothing as painful as staying stuck somewhere, Danielle, where you don't belong. You know that you won't fit in because sometimes we're not made to fit in. And so if you find yourself in a situation and you know you don't fit in, don't stay there. Hit the reset button. Whatever you have to do to get unstuck, because you were not born to be stuck. You were not born to stay in that state, in that same place. If you feel like you've outgrown your space, I remember feeling personally like a 12th grader in a kindergarten class. I was too big for my seat and I felt like I was in prison and I couldn't move. And I was like, I'm just stuck and I just need to get out of here. And so I had to press the reset button in my own life. I had to make some changes. After 14 years, Tia, I made a career change. After 14 years as a single parent, I took a step out on faith because I felt stuck. I felt like I was in the mud, Danielle. I felt like I was moving, but I wasn't making any progress. I felt like I was just spinning in circles, Tia. And I was like, I'm not going anywhere. And so I had to make a decision for myself and for my daughter, Christina. It's time for me to get out the mud. I don't know who I'm talking to on tonight, but it is time for you to get out of the mud. I want you to hit the reset button. I want you to know that you don't have to stay in that same state. You don't have to stay there any longer. There's nothing impossible. You are able to reestablish and to replant. You know how it is when you have a plant and you pot it and it's in your house and it's in a pot and it's cute and it's beautiful. But if you notice, the plant begins to grow, Tia, and then you have to go find a larger pot to put the larger plant in. So as you begin to grow and to expand, you're going to have to change pots. So you got to hit the reset button and go find you a larger pot. And if I don't know about you, but I want to get the largest pot and allow my roots to grow. And I want to grow beyond measures. I want everything that God has for Sharon Janine Respus. If it has my name on it, I want it. So therefore, sometimes we have to hit the reset button. And again, growth is painful. God knows it is. Change is painful but inevitable. But there's nothing as painful as staying stuck somewhere. You know you don't belong there. You know you don't fit in. You know you're better, you're bigger. You know that you have more inside of you to offer the world. And you're just stuck, just spinning around in circles. It is time to hit the reset button. So you got to see it before you see it. I took a step out on faith. I didn't know all the answers. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I knew that if I took the first step, I knew God would ensure that I would make it to my destiny. And I am in transit at this time. And I'm so grateful. One of the best decisions I ever made was to get out of the mud and stop being stuck and just spinning my wheels without going anywhere. Just tired and sick and tired. But when you hit that reset button, when you make up in your mind that this is not the way that you want to go, when you know, Danielle, that you've outgrown this space and it wasn't made for you and you wasn't made for that space, it's time to hit the reset button. And so tonight, I want you to remember this. Jimmy Dean says, I cannot change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. So whoever you are tonight, adjust your sails because it's time for you to reach your destination. Go ahead and adjust your sails and move forward into what God has for you. Your destiny, your dreams, your aspirations, your visions, whatever it is that you know belongs to you. I want you to go get it. I want you to hit the reset button and I want you to run and I want you to go get everything that belongs to you. So tonight, I want you to see it before you see it. And our guest is Tia Sellers, a good friend of mine that works for Fathom Realty. She is a real estate agent and trust me, one of the best in Brunswick County. I am so proud of her. We worked together at my previous employment and we both kind of felt the same way about being stuck. And so we had to make some changes. So we hit the reset button. And it's okay to hit the reset button when you need to. So please join me in welcoming Tia Sellers to Respus Live. Tia, good evening. Good evening.
Hey, Sharon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Love that word you just delivered. That was amazing. And it was so, so true.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight. I know your schedule is busy because you're selling houses. And even as we were getting ready for the show, things were coming in for her. Sales were being made. And I was like, yeah, Tia, you hit the button, honey.
That's right.
So thank you so much for coming. So tell us about your reset button.
Oh, Sharon. Oh, I could so relate to what you were just discussing. Like you, I was in another career and felt stuck. I felt stuck in the mud, and I had always been an entrepreneur at heart. I had run several small businesses in the past while I worked the other career, and I felt stuck, unfulfilled. I felt that God had given me a passion and a purpose and a vision, and that when you see it before you see it, a lot of times you're seeing it with your spiritual eyes,
Yes.
not necessarily your human eye, and you feel it in your soul that you're meant for more.
Oh, that's good.
And I knew that. And coming home every day after day, just feeling sad and beat down and feeling like I was not fulfilling my full potential. And I'd always wanted to help others and looked for various ways of doing that. And some personal events happened in our family. Some illness struck, and I had to really reevaluate our life and what made me happy, what would bring me joy, what would support our family, and what would allow me to be home and present when I was needed. And so my family and I, we reevaluated everything. And I had gotten my real estate license in the early 2000s and did not leave the corporate job. And, the economy ebbed and flowed, and I stayed put. For 15 years, I stayed stuck.
Wow.
But, life happens, and God gives us that vision and allows us to see what we could do. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to reset. Like you said, I'm going to press that reset button, and I'm going to go after what is destined to be mine.
Oh, yes.
And it was scary.
Yes.
It was really scary. I had gone so many years with my license inactive. I had to go back to school and to retake the state exam. But that was okay. I did it all while I worked, while I took care of my family, passed the exam. And then I said, okay, what am I going to do? I'm so scared. And I prayed about it. and the answers started to come. Things started opening up, doors started to open, and I said, I can't put my toes in. I can't just dabble. I've got to go all in.
Oh, that's good, Tia.
You know, you can't just stick your toes in. And so I resigned. I made my decision, and with that, it was scary. There was a lot of obstacles, haters.
Yes.
Let's just call it what they are.
Yes.
But, haters are your motivators. So many people, what are you doing? You're crazy. You've got a pension. You've got benefits. You've got all of this. And you're going to give it up?
Oh.
But when you have that desire and that burn down deep.
That's good to you.
And so I leaped. And it's been absolutely amazing. It's afforded me the opportunity to be home, to go to doctor's appointments, to be home for treatments, to do those things while fulfilling those dreams and visions of my own. I didn't have to set that to the side.
Oh, that's good, Tia.
I didn't have to set Tia to the side to be a wife and to be that person at home. So the Lord, he blesses us and he just shows us if we will listen.
Oh, that is good.
And so that's kind of the beginning on how I made the transition, why I reset and started down this road.
That is good. Now, you mentioned that you felt in your soul that you were at a place, but you knew you didn't belong there. Mm-hmm. Was it like a nudging, or it was something that every day? I know you said when you got home, you felt tired and you were unhappy.
Yes.
That was the indicator that something just wasn't right with where you were.
Absolutely.
You knew you didn't belong there. And so many times I feel like that we have that same feeling, and we know that we're a misfit, and not in a negative way, that we have so much more to offer. But because we feel safe and we're comfortable, we stay in that situation. And I, stayed in the same position for years, even after, obtaining my degrees, and I put an S behind it because there was more than one. And so I'm like, I can't stay here any longer because I just felt like I was stuck. And it definitely takes faith. I heard you say that you stepped out on faith, but I love the fact you said you didn't just put your toes in. You went all in. What was that allowed you to go all in?
Faith and a prayer.
Yes.
There's nothing else I can say. I really, if it wasn't for my faith and just trusting, because I knew when I made that decision that was it. Once it was done, I felt in my soul that it was done, and there would be no going back.
Oh.
And, I just like you had worked so hard and had gotten the degrees and just I was stuck. Yeah. And I wanted to do more, help more people in a different caliber. We helped people in our other career, but I wanted to do more. I wanted to make a difference. And through real estate, I'm able to do that. I mean, I'm helping people with the biggest purchase of their life.
Yes.
And I help everyone. Yes. It doesn't matter if it's an apartment for a single mom or if it's $1 million home. I believe in giving everyone the care they deserve, the attention they deserve. And there's nothing more rewarding than to hand over those keys to that mama and that little girl.
Yes.
And see her light up and say, Mama, this is home. Yes. And there's nothing more rewarding. And I don't have to hide my faith in my job. I can tell my testimony and I can share, and I don't feel confined in that. I can be me, authentic.
Yes.
I don't have to put on a face. What you see is what you get. I do believe in growing my brand on authenticity.
Oh, that's good to
you.
you.
And being me.
That's good. That is very good.
But that reset button and that fear, it's real. The fear is real. And it took a lot of prayers. And I will be honest with you, there were times in the beginning where I always pray in the shower. I don't, that's just my time. It's a quiet place in my house. But, there was times that I just, Lord, am I doing the right thing?
Yes.
And he would always speak to me in some way or another, and he would show me, keep the faith. I've got you. I got you. Believe. And I have. Every time I get scared, I would just dig in deeper, and I would keep going. And, nothing worth having comes easy.
Oh, that's good to you.
Absolutely. And it's been amazing.
I like how you prepared yourself. You said that you had your license, but they'd expired. So before you made that leap of faith, before you jumped, you prepared yourself. You
Absolutely.
went back and you studied, because I heard the exam was kind of hard.
It's hard.
So you prepared yourself, and by preparing ourselves, and so many times we want God to do so much for us. We want him to dig a ditch, but there's a shovel right
Got
there.
to move the feet.
So the preparation that you made in order to make that jump was amazing. So for those people, for anyone that's listening that wants to want to make that jump and that leap and on faith and just move because you feel stuck, you want to make sure you prepare yourself. So I say it all the time: when you come to the table, you put your credentials on the the table. You just don't come looking for a handout. You come prepared. So you prepared yourself as much as possible, and then you just stepped out on faith for the rest of it. So you said you wanted to make sure that you did something to help people. I can't even imagine how it would feel to be able to help someone that's been trying for a while to get into a home, and then to see the face of the children and when they see their rooms and things of that nature.
It's so exciting. There's nothing that can compare to the joy, especially, and I love working with children. So those instances are amazing. And after Hurricane Florence,
Oh yeah.
There was so much tragedy, and I was able to, to help families with that situation and get them into a new home. And that was a whole nother dynamic to what I had worked with in the previous years. And every encounter that you have with someone, you learn a little more. You tuck a few more tools in your tool belt.
That's good.
Because every transaction's different. There's nothing cookie cutter. It's not one size fits all.
That's good.
You're dealing with real emotions, real people, and let's be honest, real dollars.
Yes.
And we know they're hard to come by. So you really want to do right by everyone you meet, and be fair and ethical, and preparing. The old brain that went back for that test, I had to study a whole lot more than I did when I was younger and I got it the first time, but it's worth it. You're never too old. You might have to study a little differently.
Oh yeah.
Because your brain works a little different as you age, but you're never too far gone, and you're never too old to press that reset button.
That is so good to you.
I mean, when you're going after your vision
Yes.
and your dream, you do not let anything stand in your way. You don't let education, you don't let money. There's opportunities out there for scholarships and grants. If you want to go back to school, go. If you want to change your career, go for it. Don't let any hater or naysayer stop you. If you can see it with your spiritual eye, and this is my soapbox, but if you know it,
right,
in your soul, and you've prayed on it, and you're shown the way, don't hold back.
Yes.
You never want to look back and say, what if?
That is so good, Tia, because so many times I've heard so many people said, what could I have told myself when I was 20? What could I have done differently if I would have did this, if I would have done that? So you don't want to have any regret. So when you know that you are stuck, that's the time to move. What really helped me was my pastor was preaching a series on leaving the familiar and branching out to the unfamiliar. It was a series, and it just spoke to me, and it kept speaking. And I was like, okay, God, I hear you. So the confirmations came. But Tia, what was difficult for me was, being a single parent, I had to add the dollars, and I called my friends and I was like, what do you think? And all of my friends was like, go for it. But then I had this one friend was like, no, Sharon, I don't think you should go for it. I think you should think about this. And so you listen to that. And I don't think it came from a hating perspective. I think it came because they were concerned about me and my well-being and being a single parent. But at the end of the day, I had to, talk to the Lord and make my decision based on my faith. So I just took a step out on faith, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made, because as you say, there's a freedom to come when you get out of that mud. When you get out of that mud and you take
Put it in 4-wheel drive, girl.
When you get out of that mud and wash yourself off and clean your face and move in the direction that you were born to. It's just some things that we know in our knower. You knew in your knower, in your soul, that was not the end for you, and that was not where you belonged, and that's where the unhappiness comes from, and that's where the misery comes from. And that's why I like about that saying where there's nothing more painful to being stuck and staying stuck somewhere where you don't belong. And I don't care if it's a relationship, what kind of ship it is, if it's your job, if you don't belong there, you got to hit the reset button.
Absolutely.
You have to hit that reset button, and you have to see it before you see it and take that step. And so you did mention about haters, and they are everywhere. And you said you use them as your motivator. So tell me, how do you do that?
Well, you take what's coming at you, and you have to sit with the spirit of discernment and decide. Like you said, your friend was coming at you, and it really, one person could have perceived it as being a hater. It really wasn't. She really cared for your well-being. So you have to sit back and you have to say, where is this coming from? Is it coming from a spirit of love, care, and compassion, or is this someone that really doesn't have my best interest in mind? Because let's be real, there are some people that just don't.
Yes.
And usually it's out of their own fear.
Oh, that's
because
good to you.
They're afraid to press the reset button in their life.
That's good to you.
And so, you just pray for them and you don't listen. You thank them for their care, but you let it go.
Yeah.
And you just know that, you know what, they may need some extra prayer, and they may need some help and some fuel and some guidance in their own life to maybe help them press the reset button, because maybe they're scared.
Yes.
And
fear is real.
It's real. It's real. Fear, it can grip you, and it just sinks you deeper in that mud you were speaking of. It's like weights. And I'm not going to pretend that I didn't have tons of fear.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I did. A lot was weighing on me at the time when I made that decision.
Yes.
And I was scared because, you have a family you're taking care of. And, if you let the fear and the what ifs get in the way, you will never know your full potential, because we're not meant to live in a spirit of fear.
That's true.
We're not.
That's so true.
So you really have to assess your situation and figure out where it's coming from, and then lead your life in the direction that it needs to go with the guidance. And you need to really have a circle uplifting you and pushing you and propelling you in the right direction during any challenging time. I would encourage, really to have a circle, be it your church, your friends, your accountant, your financial advisor, all of those things. If you're going to make a big change, have your team established before you press that button. Have it in place. Be ready.
You have to be prepared.
Be ready.
Yeah. You can't just press the button because you're tired. You make sure you look at all aspects. And I don't want anyone to leave away from the show thinking that you just press a button. No. You have to make preparations, and you definitely have to make sure your steps are ordered. But when you're stuck. And there's no doubt about it, because and you're miserable and you're unhappy, and you just get tired. You're like, I'm just so tired of coming to the same place all the time. And you're just like, I got to go to work again. I got to do this again. I got to see this person again. So when you're stuck, you're stuck, and there's nothing about it. But you do have to prepare yourselves so that you can actually adjust yourselves, because in life we have to make changes. It's inevitable. Changes are necessary in order for us to reach our goals. But that reset button is so important. And I love the fact that you said that some people don't want you to press the button because they're in fear, and so they want to transfer their fear to you to keep you from pressing the reset button. Right. And so I like how you said your haters are your motivator. And I told you, as you begin to move forward, you will have them. And you can't allow them to shift your focus. You got to take care. You make sure you seize the moment and move forward as you need to. So I enjoy knowing that your haters are going to be there. You're going to have people to tell you not to press the reset button, but you have to do what's best for you. And surrounding yourself with people that will push you and propel you. I love that. I think every person should have a circle, and that circle should be your cheering squad, your loudest cheerers. I had this conversation with one of my friends today about that, and she was saying, no, the people around you should be your cheerleaders, and they should make sure they're pushing you into the direction that you want to go in. And so I make sure that I'm not the smartest person in my circle. I tell you that right now. But I want to make sure that I have people around me that see the good qualities in me that will push me and help me press the reset button. And Tia, sometimes we have to press it more than once, Sometimes
jump started.
Sometimes we have to press it more than once to get where we're destined to be, and to make sure we walk in our destiny. So we have to reestablish where we're going. We have to make sure that we reset ourselves so that we can receive everything that He has for us. And please, if you don't take anything away from the show tonight, don't stay stuck in a place where you don't belong. If you're miserable all the time, if you're unhappy, that is a key indicator, or those are key indicators that you're stuck in the mud. And there's nothing worse than being stuck in the mud and just staying there and just spinning, because that time when my vehicle was stuck, Tia, the more I pressed the gas, the deeper I went in. And so when you stay in that situation and you keep pressing the gas and you keep pressing the gas, eventually I had to get someone to pull me out. It was just that bad because I just kept getting bogged down into this into this mud. And so I needed help to get out of that. So I needed someone to push me out and pull me out. So I had to call someone with a truck to tie something, some strings or something. I'm not all that good with stuff like that, to pull me out of the mud. Right. And so we need to make sure that we have people that'll pull us out, make sure our circle understands the directions that we're going in, and to assist us to get out of the mud. And I think it's imperative, I'll take think out, it is imperative to make sure you surround yourself with people that understand your destiny and know where you're going and keep pulling you out of the mud. Sometimes we're comfortable in the mud and we want to go back in the mud. They're like, nah, come on, that's not where you belong. Right. So that is really good. So that is, growth is painful and change is painful. It is. It's not easy, and fear is real. But it's fleeting for those that believe.
Absolutely.
It's not something that stays 24/7. It pops up, and when it pops up, we say, you know what? He didn't give me the spirit of fear,
That's right.
but of love, power, and a sound mind.
That's right.
That's what we're going to operate in. One thing that I do, Tia, to reset my mornings, because we have to reset. At 12 o'clock, midnight, our mercies are renewed, and they're new every morning. So when I get up, I hit the reset button. And by doing that, I command my morning. I command which way I'm going today and what I'm going to allow to filter into my system. So I'm constantly hitting the reset button. But when it comes to seeing things from a career perspective and birthing out everything that's in you, you have to hit that button and move forward. Just imagine if you would have stayed where you were, because of fear. And now look at where you are now because you didn't allow fear to paralyze you. And so for those that are stuck, I want to encourage you. And I know Tia came to encourage you because we made a decision.
That's right.
That it was time for us to get out of the mud. I knew and without a doubt that it was time for me to just get out of the mud. And so I'm grateful that I hit the reset button. And so tell me, Tia, when you hit that button, and I know you had, things going on and you needed to be home. And I love the fact that you didn't have to take one over the other. Absolutely. That you were able to do both. You didn't have to, you say, I didn't have to place Tia to the side.
That's right.
And so it is important for us to realize that we don't have to deny ourselves to fulfill our other responsibilities. So tell me, how difficult was that for you to make sure that Tia was doing and walking in her dreams and her visions and her aspiration, but still making sure you're present?
That's right. And I'm going to be honest, that can be very difficult at times.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I have to sit back sometimes and do a reset, okay, I have to make sure I can only stretch myself so far. This is a very demanding career, and I pride myself on being a good wife and mom, and I want all those things, but Tia can only go so far. And we have to remember that we have to take a break sometimes. And you know what? I need some self-love.
That's
good. Maybe I need to take a day that I reset. Mm-hmm. But it's hard, I think, as women, especially, not to discredit any men, but I think women, we're trying to be superwoman all the time. And it's, relying on that circle that encouraged us to make the leap, and relying on them in the times that were stretched.
That's good.
And saying, okay, look, I need to reassess. I need to take some self-care. Maybe I need to get my hair done. Maybe I need to get my nails done. Maybe I just need to Netflix and just relax. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I need to get in the Word. Or whatever you have to do to reset. And I, like you, every morning, I like to fill my head and my heart with positive. So I'll put on a podcast in the morning while I'm getting ready. It's usually a sermon, but it's usually an uplifting, get me going, get me positive, get me going. If I don't do it then, I do it when I'm doing my morning walk. Mm-hmm. I try to start my day with the positive, because we're inundated all day with negative. And we have to really sow the right seeds. And, back to being surrounded by the team, the positivity that propels you and the right group of people. My husband, I'll give him a shout out. I could not do this without him. He has been my greatest supporter, my greatest encourager. It's encouraging me every step of the way. And he always makes sure that I do take time out. Have you eaten? Have you gone to your own doctor's appointments? He's really there. And I'm so, so, so blessed to have that in my life. And, that's just one of in my family's all supportive. It's just been really wonderful. But I don't want to take away, because everybody doesn't always have that.
That's true.
Okay. Everybody doesn't always have the system at home to be the support, or maybe your parents aren't living. Maybe you don't have a spouse. But trust me, there is someone out there that loves you and knows you and cares about you. And you need to find those people and be careful on whose energy you're letting around you. Don't let the suckers suck all your positivity, you know? And I want to encourage, if anybody's wanting to make a change, I'm here. I've done some coaching, and I would love to help anyone that's looking to make that next step to transition. I want you to know that it's never too late. You're never too old. The sky's the limit. Whatever God put in your soul, He put it for a reason. Your dreams and ambitions were created as a part of you for your ultimate goal and vision and what all He's created you to be. And you owe it to yourself to explore that.
That is so true. I had some goals for this year. Well, I have goals for this year. And as, time progressed, I'll share some of them. But one of my goals were to go back to school. And at my age, I'm like, do I really want to step out and dive into this doctoral program? Because the attrition rate is very high. 59% of the people that start the doctoral program never finish because it's that intense. And I'm like, at this time of my life, do I want to take that step? And I don't want to say, what if I didn't? So I'm going to say, I'm going to take this step.
Absolutely.
And so I began this year, and it was just one of my goals. And I heard people say, why are you going back to school? And I'm like, for real? So that goes back to making sure that you don't let anyone snatch what you've envisioned. For every person that says, why are you going back to school? My circle is like, what can I do to help you?
That's right.
Have you applied? What schools? My best friend, Stephanie, I'll give her a shout out. When I mentioned it to her, she says, let's find the top schools and we're going to pick one for you. So we did we did weeks of research to find the best online school, the best 5 schools. And then I had the option to choose from one. But that's the kind of people that I surround myself with. Like, yes, do that. Because my goals will require me to have that piece of paper because I'm still in transit. I hit the reset button one time, Tia, and that was for me to get out of the mud. Oh, there's another reset button for me to propel into the next step of where I want to go, because I don't have just one goal, and I don't want to arrive and just like chill out there. I have several goals in mind. And so once I reach this goal, I'm ready for my next goal and then my next goal. So there are no limits to what you can do. And for those that are listening, that you're stuck and you want to know what's the first thing to do, I say do research. You went back and you studied, and before you made your decision, you had your paper. You had what you needed to walk directly into your destiny. Right. So find you a book or find you something that will help you move into that direction. But my goodness, don't move without being prepared, and don't move without God's permission, And I knew that it was time for me to move. So I did the research. When it's time for me to go to school, I did the research. All of my moves now, I do research first, because you want to make sure that your moves are in line with your vision, your goal, and what God has for you. But you want to be prepared. And I love how you prepared yourself before you took that leap. You had all the credentials that you needed, so that when you walked in there to find your job, that interview, you had what you needed to make sure that you could actually complete this assignment. So tell me what it was like when you go to the interview and you have all your credentials. Are you scared or?
You're scared. And with real estate, it's a little different. And you're, rather than them interviewing you, a lot of times you're interviewing them because you have the license and you're trying to find the firm that's the best fit for you.
Okay.
And so I did that. I interviewed with several companies, and then I found what was the best fit for me during that season.
Mm-hmm.
And like any career, there's different things you can do and different options as you grow your career. And then after I was there for a while, I realized a better option for my personal situation. And I made a change. And I hit the reset button.
I love it.
And I made a change.
I love it.
And I'm working now. You're talking about goals. I'm working now on some unspoken goals
Yes.
in my career
Yes.
that I'm getting ready to grow again.
Yes.
And I'm working on those goals.
Yes.
And I'm excited, but I'm preparing.
That's key.
I'm having the meetings with the right people. I'm preparing and I'm getting myself in line
Yes.
to do all that I'm meant to do. And I know I'm meant to do more and to touch more people and to grow.
Yes.
I'm outgrowing that pot.
I understand.
Like you were talking about,
Yes.
the plant in the pot. But you can't just take those leaps. You have to prepare. And I'm a visual person, and I have a vision board.
Good.
And I have a goal board. And there's nothing more satisfying than marking off on your board or removing a picture off your vision board because you've achieved something.
Yes.
And if anyone's not doing that, I definitely recommend that is a great place to start because we have to see it before we see it.
Yes.
And looking at that board and reminding yourself, it could be a picture of a family because you want to devote more time to your family and your current situation's not allowing that. So that's that. It's not all monetary things.
No, it's not.
And those are not the most important things. It's time and value with your family and those that mean the most to you and being present and
Yes.
in the moment.
Yes.
So definitely do a vision board and a goal board. And
That is good.
I believe in short-term and long-term
Absolutely.
goals.
Yeah.
Because we're growing,
Yes.
we're evolving, and that changes.
It
so
changes
good
over
for
time.
you for going back to school.
It changes over time, and I like how you said you have the goal board and a vision board. They were separate, and I love how you prepared for your goals. You have them in mind, and you're preparing now.
That's right.
Before you get there, you're seeing it. You're seeing yourself there, but you're preparing yourself as you move forward. And so I want to challenge listeners, as you stated, if you're not doing a vision board, if you're not doing a goal board, if you're not making preparations to get out of the mud, I challenge you before you go to bed tonight to write something down. Write the vision and make it plain, and just step out on faith to get out of that mud. So it's progressive. It may not happen overnight, but you got out of the mud.
That's right.
And if you could get out of the mud,
Anybody can get out of
and
the mud.
I can get out of the mud,
Anybody can.
we can encourage someone else to get out of the mud. And so I'm proud of you in your leap of faith and how you had a family and you made a decision for your family and you stepped out and you got out of that mud and hit the reset button. And then you hit the reset button again. And so you have some more goals. So you're going to keep hitting that reset button. But before you hit it, you're making preparations. You're making sure that when you come in the room, you have everything you need to put on the table. I'm an advocate of that. When you step in the room, you have all the credentials you need because you deserve to be in there. But you got to be prepared before you go in there and comes in with everything that you desire. So vision boards, goal boards, make sure you have something. And again, tonight before you go to bed, if it's just one thing, I challenge you to write it down. And I don't care how small it is or how large it is, every step is progressive. If you're taking a step, you're moving. You're coming out of that mud. And I am a believer that you got to see it before you see it and that you can come out. And so whatever you're good at, and I think we know when we're good at something because it's not difficult. It's kind of easy for us. When you find that thing that makes your heart happy, like helping other people, that makes you happy, then find something that you can do that will start, even if it's volunteering at a shelter or at a youth center. Start taking baby steps to get where you want to go. Go to a community college, go back to school, go talk to someone that's doing it. So if you want to get in real estate, talk to Tia. And Monica, when she was here, she challenged anyone that was interested in starting their own business to contact her. So by all means, when you're ready to get out that mud, you find someone, you get you a mentor, and you write your visions and make them plain, and you prepare yourself to come out of the mud. And I'm just so excited because I believe that this show will help so many people understand you don't have to stay in the mud. You can hit that reset button at any time and come out. You don't have to stay somewhere you don't belong. And there's nothing more miserable than being stuck in a place where I felt like this big kid in the, those little desks in kindergarten with the top. Yes. And I'm just stuck. I'm just stuck. And you just get tired of being tired. And you have to make a decision because you don't belong there. That's right. It is so freeing to be able to walk out of the mud and just come out and just take a bath and just take that dirt off of you. So I am so proud of you, Tia, for taking that step. And it's a leap of faith. And it's different for everyone. So you write your goals down, your visions down, and whatever inspires you, whatever motivates you, whatever makes you feel good, start with that. And as I say, get you a mentor or someone you can talk to and move forward, because this is our season of multiplication. That means things are going to come our way and doors are going to open for us, but we have to be prepared to walk in those doors. I want to be prepared, Tia, for every door that God has for me. I want to walk in there with confidence, but I want to make sure I have everything I need to sit at the table. So 1, we have to prepare ourselves. 2, find someone that's doing it. Get your vision boards together. Get your goals board together. Now, I'm glad you shared that tonight, because I'm going to have to do a goals board. I'm going to have to separate them because I'm doing all at once.
Send me a picture. Send me a picture. I'm going to hold you accountable.
Yes.
You need an accountability partner.
Yes, that's good.
Don't get excited.
Get excited.
Yeah. You need an accountability partner,
Yes.
somebody to hold you accountable.
Yes.
If you set a goal, have someone that you're reporting back to.
Yes.
And someone that can celebrate with you.
Yes.
The small successes need celebrating.
Everything.
So it's important to have that
Yes.
person
I
too.
I celebrate small victories. I don't care how. If I make it during the day without saying something or doing something, I'm celebrating at the end of the day. I'm like, yes, Lord, I thank you for small victories. There's nothing that I don't celebrate. And you are true. You need someone to hold you accountable and people to celebrate with you.
That's right.
Surround yourself with people that celebrate with you, that are so excited. When my friends something good happened to them, you would think it happened to me. I'm yelling, I'm screaming, I'm hollering, and it's just everything.
And that's how it should be. Those are the people that you need in your circle.
Yes, it's like it's for me too. So when you have someone in your circle that wins, everybody wins.
That's right.
And you always pull somebody with you. I came out of the mud, but I didn't come out by myself. I want to make sure my daughter is not stuck in the mud. And if I can talk to someone else's daughter, I want to make sure they don't get stuck in the mud. And if my girlfriend in the mud, she coming out too, because I can't come out the mud and leave her in there. So it is imperative that we surround ourselves with people that see our vision and push us and propel us to our next goal. And again, there are no limits to what we can do. You have to see it before you see it. I challenge you tonight, before you go to bed, to write it down. If it's nothing but one thing, and just work on it. And as Tia stated, is nothing any better than checking off that list. And I hashtag GDI. And as God did it. If you ever see a hashtag that says GDI, God did it.
And won't he do it?
Don't you get me started. Don't you get me started, because he's amazing and he's faithful. So again, Tia, thank you so much for coming on the show. And if you are interested in purchasing a home, this young lady will help you in any way that she can. And so hopefully next year she'll be helping me. I said, Tia, I'm going to need this. I'm going to need that.
You got it, babe.
So please, you hit me up on social media. Tia, tell us how to find you.
Okay, I am on Facebook at Tia Sells NC. On Instagram, same thing, at Tia Sells NC. Those are the two best ways to get me. I'm on Twitter, but I don't tweet too much. But it's Tia Sells on Twitter. But my Facebook page, please join. Like the page, share the page. It's a great market right now, helping a lot of people, and love to help more.
Yes. And so you're saying now is an excellent time to buy.
It is.
Yeah.
Sell or buy.
Oh, that's
the market's good both ways, depending on where you're looking as far as which way it's going. But absolutely, the time is now.
Time is now.
Time is now.
Yes. So again, if you're looking to purchase a home or to sell one, Tia
Absolutely.
is the lady. So please, you contact her on social media, or you can always hit us up at Podcast South, or you can inbox me, and I'll be happy to thank you, Jamie. So Tia, I'm gonna let you make a decision tonight.
Okay.
I have 2 shirts for you because I like to give my guests shirts. It's hashtag you have to see it before you see it. This is a light bulb, which reminds
that.
us. And then the butterflies remind us that we are forever evolving. Shout out to Sherry Alvarez. I gave her an idea, and this is what she came up with. She did 2 designs for me. She's amazing. And then she did this one with a picture of myself and a bulb. And then it has, you have to see it before you see it. So you're able to get whichever one you like, and we'll give it to you as a gift for coming on the show.
Thank you. I love the bulb and the butterflies.
Yes,
I love what they represent.
Yes, they do.
How we evolve and
yes, that
grow
is
beautiful.
so true, so true. So if you would like to purchase a shirt or cups, we have all kinds of gifts for you. Just give us a call, or just hit me up on Podcast South, or you can actually send us send me an inbox. But the shirts are available, and the cups, the hats. We have all kinds of paraphernalia, because you have to see it before you see it. So Tia, I hope when you wear that shirt, somebody will say, "What does that stand
That's
for?"
right.
And then you can share
I
how
will.
you
Absolutely.
saw it before you saw it, and
I
now
love
you
it.
walk into it. So thank you so much for coming, and I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. The music is by A&A Promotion. Antron hooked me up with that song, his company. I love the Respus Live intro. And my makeup, again, is by Beauty by Drea. We thank her for beating my face. And our sponsor is Monica Hewitt and Making Memories Events and Design. She has sponsored our first show. So we thank you, Monica Hewitt and Making Memories Events and Design, for sponsoring us. And again, another shout out to A&A Promotions and Beauty by Drea. She actually does my makeup every Monday, and I'm so grateful because I'm not good at that. Our next guest, oh my goodness, everybody, this is going to be awful. My next guest is Jack Halls. And I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, but Jack Hall and I argue all the time about football. Jack Hall is going to be here next week. I just want you to go ahead and just set your alarm, because you need to watch this live, because it's going to be off the chain, because I don't like Jack, and I never liked Jack. I'm not going to like Jack after he leaves. But we went to high school together, and he saw the vision, and he's walking in it. So he has an amazing story to share with us. We're still talking about you have to see it before you see it. And we have people from all walks of life. And I love it. We have real estate. We have businesses, making memories, events and designs. Jack he owns his own funeral home. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do, don't you think it's too small or too big? There's room for all of us to get out of the mud and move forward, and to reset and make sure that we walk in the destiny. So again, thank you so much, Tia, for coming. We thank our sponsor, Making Memory Events and Design. Our music, again, is by A&A Promotion, and makeup is by Beauty by Drea. If you would like to sponsor Respus Live, please send us a message on Podcast South. Send me a message, and we will have a bonus show on Thursday. So Tia, if you're not busy on Thursday, and Respus Live audience will have a special show airing on Thursday at 7 o'clock. We have a special guest coming, and kind of excited about this. It's another show about there's nothing impossible that you can't do. So from Respus Live, to all of you, thank you so much for signing on and for sharing the video. And please share and have a watch party. And may his peace be with you until we meet again. Blessings. Thank you so much, darling. It was beautiful. Thank you so much for coming. What an amazing story.
I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.